Hello, everyone. Welcome to another night of stamping. I am Sarah Simon, and I'm just happy I got here on time. I'm not going to lie. I had a meeting this afternoon at our diocese in Green Bay. So it's about a half an hour from my house. And it was a meeting that went from 1:30 till 4:30. And I actually snuck out with a priest who was sitting at the table with me and was a classmate of mine in high school. He had to sneak out to leave, and I said, I'm leaving with you because I needed to get out of there and get home. I'm like, don't these people know I have a live video tonight that I have to get ready for? So I am here and I am live. I got home about, I want to say it was maybe about 5:15, maybe closer to 5:30. And I was talking to my mom on the way home, like, I made the cards like last week or early in the weekend because there's some of my swap cards that I'm doing tonight. And I completely forgot to cut another sample to do for my live tonight. So I've got to cut everything yet. So I got everything cut and I am here. So thank you guys so much for joining me. We've got people from all over the place. Some of you are saying where you're from. I've got somebody from Lori's from Hannah City, Illinois, and we've got Julie watching us in Ohio, and Marva on the east side of New York. Oh, wait. Hi, stamping friends from the Northeast New York. So I don't know, Marva, I don't think you're from there, but maybe you're there right now. So thank you all for joining me. I am excited to be with you tonight and share some of the product that is in this catalog, which I can't open yet, and also what's going to be coming in an online exclusive as well. My favorite suite I'm going to be featuring, and I'm also going to be doing one Christmas card that comes from a stamp set that is in the mini catalog. So I'm excited to show you some of those products. They will be available, I believe it's September 2nd. Let me just look. September 3rd. Okay, September 3rd is when you can start ordering. Now, if you are a customer, not a demonstrator under me, but if you are a customer of mine, I will be getting these in the mail yet this week. That's what I'm working on tonight and tomorrow because I have one card to finish for my swap and I have all my swap cards done, which is amazing because one of them is due September 1st. The other four are not due until September 6th. So I'm way ahead of the ball game here. So, which is good. I didn't sign up for as many this time because I needed to take care of myself and not make myself crazy. But I'll be getting all those swap cards and I'll be able to share all of them with you. So I'm excited about that as well. So I do have some happy mail to share with you. I received this card in the mail. This is on one of our note cards. This is from Shannon West, who works for Stampin' Up, and she was congratulating me on earning the Alaskan cruise. So she made it look like the Northern Lights. And then I received this beautiful card, which is kind of like an off-centered gatefold card. This is from Kathy Kessler, and I think she won some prizes. She said thank you for the inspiration and for the gems that she won. And then look at this beautiful card. I just absolutely love this. I haven't used that enough. I think I only used it once. I think it's called Grateful. Not Grateful for You, but it has something with grateful in the title. And then it says on the inside, so grateful for that heart of yours. Thank you. And this is from Julie Gressel. She won our creative challenge. She was thanking me for having those to try to help her be creative. This one really intrigued me. Look at this beautiful card. Look at that like braiding that's on the other side. I forgot what that's called. Denise, you'll have to let me know what it's called. This is from Denise Umloft, and she had won some prizes. I do have a prize here that I have to get to her as well. I didn't know I was going to see her at the card buffet last week, and I forgot to bring it. So that was from her. And then I received this one from Kelly Atchison, congratulating me on earning the Alaskan cruise. So this is kind of a fun fold. It's a book fold, but then besides being a book fold, it's also a gatefold. So it's a book fold gatefold. So thank you all for sending me this Happy Mail. I love going to my mailbox and finding something other than bills. Isn't that so nice? I just think it's so great. Those of you that won prizes 2 weeks ago, I apologize I didn't go live last week. We had our staff retreat. I thought I had a worship committee meeting, but I found out after I canceled that our worship committee meeting was canceled for the month of August. We were taking the month of August off. And I'm like, well, I have so many swaps to do. I think I'm just going to leave it as it is and not hop on. And then I stayed home this weekend instead of going to the cottage because we went to the Brewer game as a family on Sunday. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'll go live on Saturday. And I'm like, I have swaps that I have to get done. I do better in the morning when I first wake up and my brain hasn't been used to try to be creative anywhere else. That's when I'm the most creative. So I like 4 cards that I had to get done with this one. Kept sending them to my mom and to Kathy Miller. What do you think of this? Would you change this? And I was getting feedback from them. And then I would get their comments and I would either change them or I started to make them. So I have 1 card left to make and I have to make 11 of them. Denise, it's the night before school starts. Oh my gosh, I remember that nervous stomach, like, do I have everything done? Am I really ready to go? What's going to fall apart in the morning? Which kids are going to cry when they're left behind, right? So good luck to you and all the teachers who either started or are starting the school year. I also have some prizes to give away. So anytime you comment, so I see people that are commenting on Facebook. Joan commented on Facebook. I see others who are commenting on YouTube. Anytime you place any sort of comment in there, you get assigned a number. And then I do a random draw on the computer. I just have it pick a random number. Whoever was assigned that number wins prizes. And so last week we made this little piggy party card, which was so fun to make. Okay. And someone had mentioned, I think it was Mary, and a couple people agreed, it would be fun to put his head on a little wobbler, or that would be kind of cool. There's also a little circle that you can make him into a shaker card if you wanted to. So receiving this for commenting last week is Diane Christopherson. And Diane looks like she just commented on Facebook. So Diane, I will be getting this off in the mail to you. And then for sharing. So if you share a link to YouTube or you share on Facebook or do anything like that, make sure in the comments you write that you shared. So like Diane on Facebook just wrote that she shared. And let's see, Barbara on YouTube wrote that she shared. I also assign a different number to all of those people. So you don't get the same number for each one. You get different numbers. I do a random draw, and winning this card that we made, that fun fold with our little popcorn thing, for sharing last week is Melanie Boy. So Melanie, I will get this off in the mail to you as well. And I do have the envelopes that go with those. Let me set them here. If you won last week, 2 weeks ago, that's what I was starting to say, and I got interrupted as to why I didn't go last week. I did not get your stuff out in the mail. It's sitting here. Because they weren't going in regular envelopes, I had to order some padded envelopes. I was out because I've been sending everything in like an envelope like this. So Amy sent me her address. I have to add it on here. So I've been sending everything in these little bit bigger envelopes because I can fit a card in there and I can fit gems in there. But the people that won last time are getting 4 cards and I couldn't get them in there. And I was out of padded envelopes. So they got delivered yesterday. So I will be getting those out in the mail to you tomorrow, along with the people that won today. I'll get yours out in the mail tomorrow. And then for placing an order. So anytime you go to my online store at Stampin' Up and place an order, you also get put into a drawing. Now these are in the new mini catalog, and I happen to have 3 of them, and I felt I only needed 2 for the stuff that I was doing. So I have 1 to give away. These are called Traditional Sparkling Sequence. These are super flat. You will not have to add any extra postage with these, and they're really, really lightweight. So receiving these for placing an order since the last time I was on here, which I think was the 12th, yes, is Nancy Hippis. So Nancy, thank you for your order. Thank you for all of you who ordered, and I will get this off in the mail to you. I'm going to put that with the cards so that they get in the mail. All right. a couple of things that I just wanted to make you aware of with Stampin' Up! Before we actually start stamping. So right now, just a couple more days till the end of this week, so until August 31st, which is Sunday, we have our in color products that are 15% off. So it's not just the in colors, it's anything that has the in colors in them. So any designer paper that has at least one of the in colors in it is on sale for 15% off. So if you go to the store and you go to, I think it's under happening now, maybe, they will have that sale, and there will be a link that you can go to that takes you right to all of the product that's on sale and what it's on sale for. All right, that is going on. I also wanted to let you know that I didn't go live last week, but Stampin' Up! Announced last week, Tuesday, that they are going to be discontinuing their red rubber stamps. So what do we mean by that? So this right here, this did not get cleaned, obviously, when I used it last. Let's see, let me clean it. So let you at least see a clean stamp. Our red rubber stamps, which look like this, okay, those are going to be discontinued. They are no longer going to be making stamps that are red rubber. The reason is they're finding it harder and harder to get the materials that they need to be able to make them. And so they've decided they're going to move to all of the photopolymer. So this is what, so just so everybody knows the difference between what we're talking about. This is a photopolymer, the ones that you can see through. So all of their stamps are going to be photopolymer. They did announce, so like this stamp right here, this stamp set, obviously is not going to be carrying over. Okay, at a certain point, anything that's made in red rubber, they'll say it's on the last chance list. When it gets to the last chance list, when they're out, they're out. They're not going to be recreating them in photopolymer. The other thing that they're going to be doing is they're going to be sending the stamp sets in something that's a little bit smaller. So it's not going to be in the cases. You can still buy the cases if you want to put them in the case, but it's going to be more like the containers that the dies come in, is what all of the stamps will come in. They'll have an image for you to put on. It'll be a sheet that they'll be on, and you can put them in there, and you can still like place them all in your cupboard and stuff, but they will be very similar to what the dies are on. So a little bit of changes that are coming. There are some dates. I don't have them memorized when they're going to be listing what some of the last chance are. So the catalog, anything that's in the annual catalog, that last chance list comes out in April. So you're going to know for sure that anything that's in red rubber is not going to be carrying over to the next catalog. This will be it. It'll be the last chance come April when they give you that list. I think it comes in either the end of March or the beginning of April. Okay, so, and same thing like with this mini catalog. When this mini catalog is done, it will probably come out with the last chance list probably in December. And then in January, it'll be last chance. So if they run out in December, they won't be making more of them and they won't be transferring them over. So it's kind of a lot like how Close to My Heart stamps came. Exactly. Thank you, Julie. If you are familiar with Close to My Heart, it's very similar to that. It's in like a little, not plastic. It's heavier than plastic. I don't even know how to pronounce. It's exactly like how our dies come, and they'll just kind of come in there and they'll be like a little flap that you can close. But if you really like these cases, Stampin' Up! Does sell these cases. So if you want to get a case like this, it's still going to have the picture of everything that you could put in your case, but that's a change that's going to be coming that you'll just be watching for. So I just wanted to share that. So if you see something in the mini catalog, like the stamp set that I'm using today, that's actually an online exclusive. If you see that and it's like, ooh, I really want that, it's not going to be carried over to the next catalog because it is red rubber. Anything that's red rubber will not be carried over. Okay, let's go ahead and let's get to stamping. Let me change. Enough announcements. Here we go. I'm going to see if I can be okay with my overhead light being on. If the shadows get to be too much, I will turn them off. I find that the picture is just a little bit better when I keep my light on, but it also, you see all those shadows of my hands. That's why I turn it off. Those disappear when I turn it off. But if we can deal with those, then we'll be okay. All right, so this is the catalog. If you are one of my customers and you did not come to the card buffet this month, like I said, I will be, oh, I can't open these. Sorry, you didn't see that. Nobody saw that. Nobody's reporting me. This is a catalog that will be starting. I can open it come September 3rd, but I can't open it before then. But I will get this off in the mail to you so that you can take a look at that. Oh goodness. I could have gotten in a lot of trouble. I didn't get in trouble. I got warned that I needed to add something to my blog, which honestly, my blog is something I don't keep up because I just don't have time to do everything. But you have to have some sort of a statement in there that all of the like the card kits and stuff that I might sell on there is not supported by Stampin' Up. It's my own private business. And so I didn't have that statement in there. So I had to do that. And I probably should say, when I got these cards that congratulated me on the earning the Alaska trip, less than 1% of Stampin' Up! Demonstrators earn this because it takes a lot of work. So anyway, there, I said it, and so I won't get hopefully in trouble. All right, Gather Together, I think, is what the name of this designer series paper in. It says the word gather, and I'm pretty sure it's together. Look at this beautiful paper. Can you tell these are the two we're going to use tonight? They're not quite as long. Oh, you can't see that in my, see, they're not as long as the other ones. So this is one side. All of these have like a little bit of gold fleck to it. Then the other side, oh, look at all of those beautiful fall cards. We're actually going to use this design in our second card, and we're going to be using these two in our first card. But our second card is actually going to be a Christmas card. All right, the bundle that goes with this is called Gathering Moments. I got stuff falling all over the place here. So this is the stamp set. So it's got like some thanks, gather, thankful for you. Your friendship means the world to me, expressing heartfelt gratitude. It's got some leaves, acorns, mushrooms, kind of some fun stuff in here. These are the same. They're both, what are these? They're not maple. They're not, are they oak? I think those are oak leaves. They're both, and I don't even know if this is technically that, but these are two different sizes, just so you know. And then you've got some little background stamps that you can add some texture through stamp to your card as well. There is an embossing folder that goes with this. I don't have it here. These are the dies. These leaves are huge. Now, I've seen people do different things with them. I've seen them use the background paper as kind of like using a bunch of the different background papers and then putting one of these big things over the top of it. I've also seen them cut this out and make kind of like a shadow and have that be like an opening to the inside of the card. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use that. Yes, Lila, I see you here. She's like sitting here with her nose, making me try to pet her. You go sit on your place. Go to your place. Go to your bed. All right, so those are the dies. Nope, she's not having this. These are the gems that go with this bundle. They're called Cajun Craze and Gold Dots. These are raised a little bit, so they might require just a little bit extra postage, but they're beautiful. They have like a little gold fleck in them. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that is what we have. And then if you are a linen thread fan, this is a combo pack that comes with this that has, you know what? I don't think this is the one that comes with this. I think this is in the catalog. Let me look real quick so I don't give you the wrong information. I don't want to give you misinformation as to what goes together and what doesn't. Let's see if I can find the one in the catalog. The one in the catalog is trees. Let me look. I'm not on the camera. Okay, no, this goes with this. Okay, these go with this set. There's also a different ribbon that goes with the one, a trim that goes with the other one. So this is Old Olive and Early Espresso, and this is the same thickness. It's not as thick as like a baker's twine. It's like our linen thread, very, very thin, easy to add to cards, doesn't add a whole lot of bulk to cards. So, but I've used the olive green on some Christmas cards that I've made, and I've used the Early Espresso on my a bunch of fall cards. Okay, this is a fun fold. So I'm going to show you a card that I received that is the inspiration for the card that I made. So I received this in a swap. Isn't this gorgeous? This is from Carissa Alvers. She had this suite of products when I did a sweet swap with Christine Bertram. And this card is just gorgeous. And it flips up like this, and then it flips down. Well, I loved this fold, but what I needed it to do is I needed it to be on the side. I needed it to be for what I was looking at doing, I wanted it to be a portrait. So I just took her design, which was like this, and I flipped it this way to make my card today. So Carissa, thank you for the inspiration if you're watching me. The card base for this, let me pull all of this stuff out. The card base that I'm going to be using is, oops, I got stuff falling out here, is Cajun Craze. So this is my Cajun Craze, and this is 8 3/4 by 4 1/4, and I scored it at 5 1/2. Okay, so that's my Cajun Craze. That's the base. The little flappy thing, I also did in Cajun Craze, and this measures 4 3/4 by 3, and I scored it at a 1/2 inch on the left-hand side here. I just scored that at a 1/2 inch. All right, then I'm going to take a coordinating cardstock, a color that goes really nicely with this, and I'm really bothered by those shadows. So let me go ahead and turn this off. And hopefully it's starting to get dark out sooner. So I'm hoping that I have enough light here to be able to pull this off. I might have to be adding some more light when I'm doing this at night because it is kind of dark right now. Okay, so the coordinating cardstock that I used was Early Espresso. So I have 3 pieces of Early Espresso that I'm going to be using. So one measures 3 by 4. That's this one. All right. This one measures 5 1/4 by 4. And this one measures 2 3/4 by 4. Is it light enough on there yet, or is it way too dark now? I have one little light on here. I'm going to have to get another light of some sort. All right. Then I have an inside neutral color that I'm going to use, and I decided to use basic beige on mine, and that is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And then my DSP, look at these leaves. Look at that gold that's in there. Can you see that gold? Oh, just gorgeous. So this measures 2 7/8 by 3 7/8. And then I used the backside of this. I thought that was pretty. It has the basic beige in it, and it's got some more of the gold. This measures 2 5/8 by 3 7/8. Now notice on her card that what she did was she just used a basic layer and she embossed it. So we could use that embossing folder. I could have used just a different color and used the embossing folder and embossed on that and put it on there. I decided I wanted to get some of the gold in on there as well. All right, that's what we need for all of our layers. I have a scrap. I thought I had a scrap. I do. Of basic white that we're going to do our stamping. And I also have die cut from our Stylish Shapes this banner out of basic beige. And we're also going to need this layer of basic beige to stamp on as well. Let me get this out of here. I'll bring this back in when I have my card done, and I'll set it next to it. So if you want to take a screenshot, you can. I'm just going to set it off to the side for right now. Okay, on the inside, I'm going to use Early Espresso ink, and I'm going to stamp the greeting that says, "Your friendship means the world to me." I love that greeting. Okay, and I didn't even stand up, and I got it pretty good. All right, let me get my cleaner again. Get in the habit of cleaning these things. And then while I have my Early Espresso ink out here, what I want to do is on this banner, I'm going to stamp "Thankful for You." This one I think I'm going to have to stand up for because I've got to get that right in the center, or not even in the center. It can be, I gotta look at my sample. It can be off to the right a little bit. pretty good. It's a little bit crooked, but that's okay if it's going up a little bit because it doesn't have to be perfect. That makes the hand stamped, right? Yep, Linda, love this DSP. It is my favorite from the catalog too. All right, then let's nope, let's leave that out. I've got a couple more things that I have to stamp in early espresso. I have a little acorn here that we're going to stamp on some scrap. And I have this little, looks like kind of like a little branch. I'm going to do 2 of those. And then let's put that away. For my inside, I'm going to take the smaller of the 2 leaves. And I'm going to do Cajun Craze. And I'm just going to kind of stamp it along the side of the greeting here. Just like that. Super easy. All right. And then I'm going to take the bigger one. I'm going to start with crushed curry. It doesn't really matter which one I start with because I'm going to clean it anyway, but I'm going to do one of the leaves in crushed curry. And then it looks like I didn't clean that very well, but I really did clean it. I might not have tapped it off because it does look like there's a little bit orange, but it kind of looks cool that way. Ooh, the Brewers are up 1-0 already in the bottom of the first. I don't know how they got the 1 run, but I do have it on in here. I'm obsessed. We went to the game for the Bob Uecker celebration of life, and it was so cool to be there. So, okay, it's okay that I have that. There are dies to cut all of this out, and through the magic of TV, I do have that done already for us. Those are all die cut out. Let's close this up. We are done with our ink pads. All right, I'm going to get this out of here so it's out of our way. And I can set this, I'm going to just set this on the floor just to get it out of my way for right now. And let's put this together. All right, so this little flappy thing here, let's take our bone folder and let's give that a really good burnish. And same thing here, we want to make sure we've got a good burnish on the side of our card. Okay, what I want to do is I'm going to add a little bit of tear and tape to that. You could use liquid glue, it'll work fine. You could use Stampin' Seal. I would probably use Stampin' Seal Plus. Our Stampin' Seal I find is a little bit removable. I'm usually able to get things off without doing too much damage. All right, so what I want to do is I want this to set where the score line is along this edge, and then it's centered as close as I can top to bottom. Now, if you want to use a grid paper to make sure it's exactly where you want it to be, so it's completely in the middle, you can. I just eyeball it, and I set this here. If it's not completely centered, you just want it to be straight. If you want to, you can kind of stand it up on its side like this to make sure they're both touching the table, but that's how you're making the little fold for this. Okay, I'm going to layer my inside greeting on the biggest piece of early espresso that I had. So this is my inside layer. So this is going to go. Now, why did I feel I had to move this card and not make it the tall way? Instead, I wanted to make it this way, kind of because this greeting was as long as it was. I'm like, this would just look better landscape. And I saw that fold and I'm like, I really like this fold. So this was my swap card that I sent to Minnesota. Funny story. I thought my swap was due on the 21st. So I was in a panic. I stayed up late one night, got it in the mail on the 21st would have been Thursday because they're always due on Thursday. Sent it out on Monday. No, either sent it out on Monday or Tuesday, but I sent it UPS. So to Minneapolis, it was supposed to get there the next day. And I sent something to the lady and I said, I put it in the mail. I put it in UPS. So you should get it with plenty of time. I looked at my thing and I'm like, oh, Sarah. She said, if you can still get it by the 21st, that's great. Otherwise, the very last deadline is the 26th, which was today. So I really wouldn't have had to stay up until like 1 o'clock in the morning to finish it, but then I had it done. It was in the mail. It was off my list of things that I had to do. So I layered this on here, and this is just going to be, whoa, I did cut that wrong. I did cut that wrong. Oh, I might have given you the wrong dimensions. You know what, though? Somewhere in here, right here, I had an extra one of those when I was doing my swaps, and it's sitting right here. So let me measure this so I can give you the right dimensions, and I'm going to write them on my thing because I obviously, remember I said I didn't have the dimensions down and I didn't have everything done when I got home, and I had to quickly do that. That's when mistakes happen. All right, let's see what this really is. This is 3 by 4, which is I think what I had on there. 3 by 4. What did I cut it at? Oh, I cut it at 3 1/4 by 4. Yeah, that would be wrong. It's 3 by 4, which is what this is cut at. Look at, I had glue on it to put on something and I didn't have any card bases left. And I'm like, did I count that wrong? And I did. So we're going to go ahead and use the one that I had as an extra. See, now I have glue on this one. I did another card that was kind of like this, but I changed the dimensions up just a little bit. So I don't know if I was going on the dimensions for that. I don't know. I did so many cards lately. All right, this is my early espresso and for the front, and we're going to add this DSP. Now that would be pretty too. It's just a little bit busy for what I want to put on the top of that. I live by I don't know if you can hear the fire trucks and ambulance. I live right by the police station and the fire station, so I hear them quite often. So if you can hear that, no, nothing's happening right here. It's just I hear them all the time. All right, so there we go. That's on there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this greeting. This is going to kind of hang off the end just a little bit. I am going to raise it up on some dimensionals because why not? We haven't raised anything up on dimensionals yet, so let's do that. Okay, like I said, I do want it to kind of hang off of here just a little bit. Okay, then I'm going to take my leaves and I'm going to kind of dry fit them right now. I want these to kind of go like that. And then I'm going to tuck this up in there. We're going to tuck this down here. And I'm going to put the acorn kind of in there. So that's kind of what I'm going to look like with my little combination of little things that I have going on here. So the reason I wanted to kind of dry fit it is I don't want to put a dimensional like right there because it can't have a dimensional there. So I want to make sure I'm putting the dimensionals off to the left side of my leaf. So I'm going to put one there and there, and I'm probably just going to throw a little bit of seal on the other part so that I can kind of just press it down where the label is. Okay, that worked out pretty perfect. All right, then I'm going to do this. I'm going to kind of lay it over the top. And again, I just want this on the left side, and on the right side, I want to have just a little bit of seal. Okay. Oh, and I forgot to do something. Let me pull these off of here real quick. Before I do that, good thing I noticed it now, I want to put some ribbon down. There we go. Put these, I'm going to put some new ones on. They're kind Good thing I caught it before I got way too far. All of a sudden I looked at it, I'm like, oh, Sarah, you forgot the ribbon. I have a sample over here that I made for myself. So let's take the early espresso. I'm just going to kind of make a bigger bow like that. Kind of just have the tails of it. Is that what you call them? Tails? I'm going to cut them a little longer. I can always make them shorter if I want. And I'm just going to take a glue dot. Just going to kind of put that where the knot is and press it down here kind of in the center. Whoa, stuck to my finger, not to the knot. Here, let's do this. Let's just put it on there and push this right in here. I made 21 of these, so I know how to make them. But I was kind of mass producing them at that time. And I do one little part, then I do the next little part. I had to do all that die cutting, which I was like, oh, why did I do this to myself? Okay, let's go ahead and put this guy down. That kind of holds my ribbon in place. And then we'll put this one down like so. I'll trim those up a little bit. I just want a little bit of the ribbon showing there. And then we'll put a glue dot on this guy. Tuck him in there. We'll put a glue dot on this guy. I love this card. Can we have this one for a card buffet? Marla, maybe. Actually, you should see the card that Kathy made for the swap. She used the same set. She used one of those big leaves, and it was absolutely beautiful. Okay, so there is, I'm going to just trim this a little bit. Okay, and then we've got these Cajun Craze with gold in them, which kind of brings the gold from here. And I don't know where my Take Your Pick tool is. It's hiding somewhere on my desk, because if you saw my full desk, it's kind of I need my swaps to be over and I need to reclaim my desk is what really has to happen. Okay, there's 3 different sizes here. There's a really tiny, there's a medium, and there's a really big one. So I put the really big one here, and then I did a little tiny one there, and then the medium-sized one I kind of put down here. Or you could put it over here, I guess. Let's put it there. A little bit different. All right, so there is our card. Now, if you wanted to, you could add a little wink of Stella. You do have to be careful because sometimes the ink will run and it'll take a little bit away from all of the detail, because these are some of our distinctive stamps that make it look really like this. Looks like it's a couple of different shades of yellow, but really it's the way the stamp is designed that makes it look like that. It's nothing that I had to do special. So there we've got a little bit of shimmer on there. Oh, that's really bad, Sarah. Let me try to change this. Let me see what you think is the better. This, okay, so I don't like this one. That's yellow. There's that one. Maybe that one's better. This is the, yeah, I think the first one's better. I'm sorry I'm doing this to you. It has to kind of adjust, but I think that one's better. Sorry about that. All right, so there's our first card. Again, my inspiration came from Carissa Albers, who did this beautiful card in this direction. And I just flipped it on its side and did the same card, same style of card, just in a different direction. So I get my inspiration from people as well. Carissa was one of those people today. I'll show you the other card that I'm making came from somebody as well. So there we have our dimensions along with the card if you want to do a screenshot. I also have a little piece of the designer paper. Look at, I've got all these little dimensional backs here. Thanks, you guys, for all the comments that you like it. All right, we're going to go ahead and do that. And then put the head on there and we'll trim it off. And we've got an envelope that will match it then. Just thought of it. I don't think I did an envelope for my second one. So I may have to I can grab some designer paper. I have a piece of it here. Okay, so there is our first card. That's a fall card. So again, this was my card that I did for a swap with my friends in Minnesota. All right, let me set this aside. I don't want it to go too far, so I can pull it back at the end. And let me grab, oh my goodness, I got a lot of stuff here. There's the card. This is the stamp set that we're going to use for our second card. So I like to do Christmas cards that have some sort of a religious meaning because after all, that's what, in my opinion, that's what we're celebrating is the birth of Jesus. And all the Santa Claus and the snowmen and the snowflakes and all that stuff is really cute. And I like all of that as well. But this is what the true meaning for me is for Christmas. So I always like to have some sort of a religious, either a greeting or a card. So I had to get this stamp set because it was the only thing that was kind of religious besides some of the sayings that they had and some of the words. So this is actually in the catalog. The last one was an online exclusive that'll be available starting on September 3rd. This is actually in that new mini catalog. There's 2 cards in there, I think. One that uses the Holy Family, and then the other one uses the 2 animals. So tonight we're going to use the Holy Family. I'm going to use the little lamb as well and some of the stars for the card that we're going to make. My inspiration for this one came from really 2 things. Let me see if I can find the card that it came from right here. So when I did my sweet swap, Christine Bertram did, she did all the in colors. So she made a card that was similar to this in a mix of all of the in colors. So this one happens to be the Darling Duckling, the Timid Tiger. She has some of the Strawberry Slush in here. And so she tried to incorporate all of the different colors. And so I had 5 cards. No. Yeah, I think I had 5 cards. Each color of the in colors was a base, and then she combined it with other colors to give us 5 different cards. And so I saw this, and I'm like, well, wouldn't that be cool to have the nativity scene in the background there? And so I kind of took this as my layout, and I made my card based off of this. And I had seen somewhere, and I didn't have time to watch her video because I think I know what she did. It worked out when I did it as my sample. So if you are familiar with the willow tree, it says we're having a trouble streaming to Facebook. This may be an issue on Facebook, and if it's possible the stream was ended or deleted on Facebook, we'll keep trying and let you know if it's resolved. Please check Facebook to ensure the stream looks okay. Is anybody still on Facebook? I haven't even been watching, so I apologize. I'm not going to view it on Facebook, but if you are watching on Facebook, it looks like it doesn't, I can't tell. I think Marla just commented on Facebook, so it still must be working on Facebook. I just got a message from my StreamYard. So if you're having problems on Facebook, I apologize. You can go back to YouTube and watch it on YouTube if you need to. All right. So the Willow Tree Angels. Let me see if I have one in here. I don't think I do. I have a couple in my living room. I have a couple at work, and I have one in my bedroom. But they're the angels that have, like, the faces are tan. The clothing of the angels are always white, and their hair is kind of like a brown color. So I decided to use, and they have a nativity set. So I decided, I saw someone tried to make it look like the willow tree, and I'm like, that looks really cool. I'm going to try that too. And so I did. And that's really what my card is going to be looking like. So let's take a look at the layers that I have. So my card base, whoa, I just dropped something. I'll have to get that because I'll need it. It's 4 1/4 by 11, and I scored it at 5 1/2. And then my coordinating cardstock is going to be pecan pie. And I cut that at 4 by 5 1/4. My neutral inside is going to actually be crumb cake. And this is 4 by 5 1/4 too. That's going to go on the inside. So where Christine had designer paper in the back and she kind of had it in panels, this is where I'm putting the scene of my nativity, the Holy Family. So I cut a piece of the crumb cake that measures 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. And then instead of having plain color like she has here that's embossed, I used designer paper instead. And I got this from the Gather Together. And it kind of just has some of those colors in it that I thought made it look really rich looking. I have a scrap of some crumb cake. I have this, and I dropped, oops, and I have it in white as well. Oh, and we may change the inside to white. This actually is 3/4 by 4. That's going to go here kind of like hers. I did mine a little bit thinner. And then I didn't know if we were going to want to do this in white or if we were going to want to do this in crumb cake. And if we do this in crumb cake, then I'll use the center that I have. If we decide to do it in white, I'll probably change the inside to white at that point. So we'll kind of see as we go along. All right, that's everything. So what I did to try to help me is I lined this up. So there's just a real tiny little space around it. I lined it up. I took a pencil. So here's my pencil. And I just lightly made a line across the bottom, along the left and the right side, and across the top. And that just gave me, and you can barely see those, I made them very light, but it gave me a space in which I needed to try to keep my image of the Holy Family. Okay, so I have all my stuff here. And I'm going to stamp the image in some pecan pie. Got a lot of stuff in my little container here. My scrap that I have there does not really have to be that big. So I'm here with my lines there, and there. So I'm going to kind of line the bottom up. It's okay if she goes off a little bit, but I want to make sure that I stay. I've got to find my lines. There they are. It's hard when that light is shining on there for me to kind of see them. We're just going to go with it. I think it's a little far off to the left, but it's okay. It's going to be okay. I swear it'll be okay. All right. Then I have this star is the one I want to put on first. I'm going to put this star right here. Okay. And then this one has like the really big one. And then these are like tinier ones. So I'm going to just stamp one over here. And I'm going to stamp one kind of over there. A lot of that's going to be covered. So I'm just going to leave it like that. On my scrap, I'm going to stamp the little lamb. Isn't he cute? All right. And then we've got our greetings. So let's see what you think. So, and it's going to be hard. Let's do the greeting at the end. Once I add the white to it, you can kind of decide, do we need to do a white paper to bring in the white that we added to our graphic or to our stamped image? Or do we want to keep it with the crumb cake like we had and added over the crumb cake? So how I'm going to do the white is I'm using some of our Whisper white ink. Okay, and what I did was I opened it up, and this comes as an empty pad. I'm going to just put this over here so I don't mess this up here. It comes as an empty pad, and it comes with a re-inker. I gotta get myself organized, sorry. Comes with a re-inker. So I just took some of the re-inker and I just squirt a little bit. Now you don't have to put it in the top of your ink pad. You could take an empty block and you could put it on the block and use it there. It's entirely up to you. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna color in the areas that would normally be white. Let me start with the hair though. I'm gonna do that with, sorry, I'm kind of like all over the place here. I'm gonna color the hair. This is a dark crumb cake Stampin' Blend, and I'm just gonna follow where Mary's hair is here. And I'm going to make her hair brown because all of those statues have brown hair. And then their faces are the color of crumb cake. So I'm not going to do anything with their faces. And then their clothes is all white. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to make that into white. So it looks like one of those willow tree statues. Okay, so and Mary's got a little bit of hair down here as well. And I was going to do some of this ahead of time because I'm like, I don't think I want them to have to sit and watch me do all of this because it did take me a while to do all of these when I was doing my swaps. But I wanted to show you just how easy it is. And I also wanted to show you, like, you do have to take some care when you are doing the adding the white. It's kind of like a whitewash is what you're doing with it. You do have to kind of be careful with all of that because you don't want to, I'm going to just kind of see if yeah, that's what I had. So I'm keeping his ear, the khaki color, or the crumb cake color, and then his hair and his beard, I put in the brown color. Okay, so you can kind of see it's starting to look a little bit like that statue. Okay, I'm using an aqua painter. This has water in it, and I'm not putting a whole lot of water with it, but I am mixing just a little bit of water with this so that it's not as stark white. It helps you to paint it on there just a little bit better. So I'm just squeezing this to get a little bit of water with it. So when you go to color this, you do have to color like within the line. So I want to color like to the left of this line that's right here, and I don't want to color over the top of it. If I color over the top of it, I'm going to lose that. So I'm going to make sure that I color to the left of that. So I'm staying within all of the lines that the artist gave us for the clothing. So here I'm going to stay to the right of that, and I don't want to go over the top of any of those lines. And I'm just going to go ahead and color all of her dress in. So it doesn't really take that long, but you do, like I said, you do have to look to see, okay, what am I coloring now? Does this have to be colored or is this the outside? Like I don't want to color, I'm going to color her sleeve, but I'm not going to color her hand because the hand and the face stays the crumb cake color. Okay, I'm going to add just a little bit more because it's getting a little bit lighter. And I'm just going to keep coloring this in. Again, going between the two lines. You do want to take, there's a couple of different sizes of the watercolor, the aqua painters. I think they're called that yet. You want to make sure that you take one that's got like a little thin tip to it so that you can get in between all of those little spots. So you see how you can still see all of those brown lines because I didn't go over the top of them with the ink. I was very careful to color around all of it. Okay, I'm going to come in and get her, the top of her garment here. And make sure I'm going around all the lines and not over them. So you can see it does take just a little bit of time. If you go over the top of them, it loses its, you just really can't tell what the picture is. It just kind of looks blah. So you do, and I remember I did this technique a really long time ago, and it's been a long time since I've done it. And so I had to kind of remember, and when I did the first one, I'm like, ooh, that doesn't look right. And then I'm like, I think I just have to be more careful with the white and make sure I'm only coloring in and leaving the lines of the stamped image, making sure I'm not coloring over the top of those as best I can. There might be a little bit that you accidentally hit, but you want to, as much as possible, not go over the top. So you can kind of see I've got the baby done, and I've got, I can't tell if this is her hand. It kind of looks like it. I'm going to see what I did. Nope, I colored it white, so I'm going to color it white. I think I left that little edge right there as her hand. Okay, I'm going to pick up a little bit more, and I'm going to start now with his coat. And if you've seen those willow tree angels, you're probably saying, oh my gosh, yes, that does look exactly like that. And like I said, I couldn't tell from the picture that I saw online if they used a white watercolor pencil, because I'm thinking you could do it with that as well. But right away, my mind went to, I think that I could do this. I'm going to get his staff. I'm going to do with the Stampin' Blend. I forgot to do that when I handed out. But there's some big areas in here where you can kind of go a little bit fast for all of this. And then there's some where you've got to slow down and make sure that you get it on either end of the stamped image. I haven't been watching comments. Are there any? Oh, thanks, Kathy. I think you're talking about the set that I'm on right now. If it was the other one, I'm sorry I was late to the comments. All right, and then I'm going to come in here. So if you're going to be doing like 100 Christmas cards, this probably isn't the one you want to do. But if you've got a couple of people, I have 3 aunts that are nuns, and I work for a priest and a deacon. And so I'm thinking, like, for some of those people where I know for sure I want to have a religious, make sure that they're getting a religious themed card, that this would be worth the time that I'm spending having to color all of it to give them something that looks really pretty. And if you find when you come back that there's some uneven spots, you can just go and add just a little bit more white to that. All right, but that is what our willow tree, if you've seen those statues, it does definitely look like that. I am going to bring my marker in here, and I'm going to take the staff and just add a little bit of brown to that, because I'm thinking that's what it would be in those statues. But that's really, I saw somebody do it. Like I said, theirs looked like it might have been white watercolor pencils that they used with it. I used my ink and my aqua painter, and I just was very careful when I colored that in. All right, whoops, let's do our little lamb yet. Forgot the little lamb. Don't want to forget him. There is a cow as well. I didn't think that should be white. I thought it should be brown. And when I colored the whole thing brown, it just didn't look as good as the lamb did. So I'm like, well, we're just going to go with the lamb. And that's all we're going to add to this card for animals, is we're just going to add the little lamb. After all, Jesus is the shepherd, right? So we've got his little lamb here to go with that thought. Okay, done with that. It's hard to see that, I think, because it's so far away, but there's our little lamb. And I am going to take I'm not sure where I put my paper snips after I trimmed. Oh, here they are. I'm going to cut that out. It's a really big piece for that little lamb, but that's all we needed. There aren't any dies for this, so you're either going to have to fussy cut anything out that you want to cut out, or stamp it right onto, like I did over there for the image that you want. Okay, and then I'm going to have you guys vote, and I'm going to have you do that pretty soon so that I can stamp the two greetings that we're going to be using for the card. So I couldn't decide if I liked. So there's our lamb. So let me put this together, what it's going to look like. So this is going to go on here, and I can actually do that already. Get it centered as best I can here. Okay, this is going to be raised up on dimensionals. Doesn't that look cool how that goes around there and that has that dark color? And then that's going to go on here. Okay, then this is going to go across here like that. Do you like the greeting in the crumb cake? And it's going to be just part of that. I have a bigger piece here than I need for my greeting. And then our lamb, where did my lamb go? Here it is going to go on the edge of our greeting. Okay, so this will be cut off, and he'll just kind of sit right next to the greeting. So do you like the greeting in crumb cake with the pecan pie, or to pull in the white from their clothing? Do you prefer having the white for the greeting and then the little lamb, and then have that in pecan pie? So do you like basic white, or do you like the crumb cake for our greeting? I'm going to start putting the rest of the pieces together because that's the last thing. And then whatever you decide, that's what I'm going to put on the inside too. Whatever a greeting is on the outside, I will probably put on the inside as well. All right, let's go ahead and add this too. So basic white or crumb cake are your choices. Put that down. And then this I'm going to raise up on dimensionals because I thought that was cool how, well, actually Christine did hers flat. I did mine on dimensionals. I really liked how it looked on dimensionals. So I'm just going to raise it up on some dimensionals. Now you could probably take our Country Woods papers, and you could probably find some there that might look like they're sitting in a barn. I don't know. I wanted to use something that was new and not something that we already had. And so I really looked to try to find something that would work. Now they used a different paper on the sample that they had in the catalog. They used a different design, but also from this set. It was the one that is like a crumb cake, and they kind of used basic beige, and they kind of tore the designer paper on the top and the bottom. They didn't use the everyday arches. Looks like crumb cake's the winner. Okay. That was kind of that's what I did no, I did actually white, and I didn't really like it. So then I redid it in crumb cake. I have the first sample that I did, and then I changed it to this. I made the opening a little bit smaller, and I added the layer of the pecan pie. The first one that I did you know how like when you design and you're like, oh yeah, but I think there's something I want to change. Those are some of the things that I changed. Okay, now I've got to get this on here straight. There we go. And then we said crumb cake. So I'm going to take crumb cake, and I don't know where here it is. This is just going to go like that. I'm just going to have a little bit of the brown on the bottom showing, and then this is going to go here. The lamb just stood out a little bit the first time. I'll show you what the one that I made the first time. I did it on white, and I did it with early espresso, and then the swaps that I made, I actually did on crumb cake with pecan pie. So you guys changed the exact same thing that I ended up changing when I made it for my swap. So I don't have one of the swaps sitting here, but I have, this just says, "Oh Holy Night." And I just cut this on an angle like that. And we're going to put this, whoops, it's got to go this way if I do it down there. So this goes all the way out to that edge. And I don't think I had the dimensions for this on my sheet, but this was 3/4 of an inch by 4. And then I have my "Oh Holy Night" that I'm just going to put right there. And then my little lamb we're going to put on. I'll keep this out because I've got to do the inside of my card yet. Dimensional. And then, before I do the inside, actually, let's do the inside, then I can put my ink away. I kind of put him right down there for the "Oh Holy Night." My little lamb. This "Oh Holy Night" doesn't look very straight. There we go. Get it straight, Sarah. Christine had put ribbon there and she had some flowers going up. The inside, I'm going to take the empty manger. I'm just going to stamp that along the bottom and use the "Oh Come Let Us Adore Him." I feel like I need to re-ink my crumb cake or my pecan pie. That's straight enough. All right, and we're just going to pop that on the inside. And then I think I have some, oh no, where did I put them? They were on my computer. I have some left from when I did my swap card. I used, oh man, I've got a mess here. I used, did I set them somewhere else? Oh, I set them over here. They're here. So I took an empty sheet of dimensionals, and can you see? That's probably hard to see. I just took some liquid glue and made some really tiny little dots on there. Because we have these gold shimmer stars that are meant to go inside of these little, how did I get red or green? You know, I've been using a lot of green for my swaps, and I must have had something on here. I don't know where my Take Your Pick tool is. I used that when I did these, so, oh gosh. Okay, so all I did, I used my Take Your Pick and put it on the little, the sticky part, and I put them on these little dots that I made. I'm going to see if I can do this with my fingers because I'm not quite sure where my Take Your Pick tool is right now. It might be in my living room because I did these one night. Actually, this was last night. It wasn't just one night. It was last night. I was finishing these up and I was watching the Brewer game and I was putting on stars. So I think my Take Your Pick tool is staying on my coffee table. Okay, once I get them on here, I'll be okay because I can just take my snips, if I can find it, paper snips, right here. I can pull that off of there. I'm just going to take and put some of these stars. I did 5, and I think I only have 4 on there right now. So I'll have to do, whoops. This is much easier with the take your pick tool, just so you know. We'll put this one here, and we'll do one more. I tried to do the solid ones instead of the ones that have a cutout, but these are meant to go in the little plastic trees that we have that you can make into an ornament or for a shaker card. But I thought it just added something to have the little stars on there. Yeah, the little willow tree, Nancy. That's what it's supposed to be. So, oh, holy night. And then on the inside, oh, come, let us adore him, with our little willow tree looking Holy Family for our Christmas card. Let me put this back in here before I have stars all over my desk. Like I said, I have one more card to finish making. When I finish those 11 cards, I will have, let's see, 44, 21, and 11, I think was the other one that I did. So that's how many swap cards I made. Not as many as I normally do. Usually I'm making like well over 100. So there is our Christmas card, looking a little bit like our willow tree angels. And again, my inspiration was Christine Bertram, who made this card. And I just decided instead of designer paper, I would put the Holy Family in the background, but I used a lot of her same design. You could, if you didn't want to use those stars, you could just use like some gems and kind of put those in the center, find something real small and put those in the center of your stars or whatever you wanted to do. I thought the stars were kind of fun to use something different from the catalog as well. I can't remember if these are online exclusives or in the catalog. I can't keep everything straight. I think they're in the catalog. All right, so there's that card. Our first card again was this one. I don't know if this is the one I made. Oh, let me do this. So if you wanted to, let me just write on here because I was missing. Oh, it's 3-0 now. Haven't been keeping up. This piece right here was 3/4 of an inch by 4 inches. And that little thing was 1/2 an inch wide. And I just cut it as I needed it. I don't know if you can even see that, but so let me raise that up so you can maybe see 3/4 of an inch by 4 and 1/2 an inch by 4. All right, so there's card number 2, which is our Christmas card. And then card number 1, which was our fall card with our Gather Together Suite. This is an online exclusive. This is in the new mini catalog, which if you did not get a new mini catalog yet and you have ordered from me, those should be popping in the mail this week. I'm hoping to get them to you by the holiday weekend. So if you're going somewhere, you can pack them with you and take a look. If the weather's not good, you'll have those to work on or look through and start getting your wish list together. All right, it looks like we maybe have Facebook back on again. Oh, nope, it still has an exclamation point. So if you were on Facebook, I apologize if you're not seeing me. All right, that is it for today. Now, next week. I'll be going live on Tuesday next week. Yes, I will be going live on Tuesday. I know that I normally switch to Saturday, but Saturday the 6th, I have an event at church. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to go to Saturdays. Between my card buffets and things that I have to get ready for church, I may stay on Tuesday nights. I'm hoping in the fall Tuesday nights would still be okay with people. I haven't completely decided on that, but I hate to always change times. And I'm just afraid that if I move to Saturday, there's more of them that I would have to change than anything else. So yes, Betty, you will be getting one. I'll make sure that you get a catalog. And I will get those. Like I said, I'm going to try to get those together tonight, tomorrow at the latest. I'm hoping to get them in the mail tomorrow is what my goal is. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you for your comments. I hope that you enjoyed the little sneak peek of the things that are to come in our holiday catalog and our new online exclusives. So I will see you next week, Tuesday. Have a wonderful holiday weekend for those of you who are in the United States. Enjoy any time with family that you're able to have, or just maybe hopefully at least having the day off on Monday. So thank you so much. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.